Hey, what's going on, guys? Big Nate here, bringing you an update video as of 8/16/2013. First, let's go over the my specs here for cooling. I'm running the Corsair Hydro Series H55 Quiet CPU cooler. I have the AM3 Plus, so it does actually work with that. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it is pre-filled, simple to install. Well, it can be kind of tricky, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to install, and it's cheap. You know, they have the H50, which is supposed to be a step below mine, but looking at the comparing the two, I couldn't really tell a difference. And on the flip side, the H60, I really couldn't tell a big difference. But anyway, that's what I'm running, is the H55 series from Corsair. Now, next up, keeping up with Corsair, we're running the Corsair Vengeance 8GB, which is two 4GB sticks. DDR3 memory. The details. Okay. The details are, it's a 240 pin DDR3 SD RAM. The two 4GB sticks. It can be overclocked to 1866, which is what I'm currently running. The cast latency is 9. The timing, I don't really know. I know that this is basically how fast it reads. I think. I don't know what timings are. Voltages is just, you know, what it takes to run it. Heat spreaders are on these, which is very nice. And I don't give a shit about style. All I care about is performance. The Intel XMP Extreme Memory Profile, yeah. Unfortunately, that's all they have on this, but very, very good. 8GB. You don't really need more than 8GB, but if you are hell bent on getting more, just go 16. You really honestly do not need more than 16. Only, you know, you can go 32GB if you are doing a ton of things like multitasking while playing games, all that good stuff. But 8GB is just fine. $80, you're good to go. Next up to the meat of the build is going to be the AMD FX 8350 Vashira. 4 GHz stock, 4.2 turbo. I don't care about turbo. I'm actually, after I run it for about a week or two to make sure there's no bugs in the system, such as faulty capacitors, faulty wiring of any sort, I will be disabling this, and you will see this hopefully near 5 GHz, but we'll just have to see. This is the AM3 Plus, 125 watt, which is pretty damn. That's ridiculous, but that's what the Vashira needs, so I have to do that. It is the 8-core processor. You do not need an 8-core for gaming. It is more for someone like myself, which does render. I render with Sony Vegas nearly on a daily basis for YouTube. Alright, so current build 8350 Vashira. Now to power my system, actually let's look at the board first. And I really hope this is recording okay, because I'm using a free program called A Tube Catcher. And it's free, so whatever. The Gigabyte GA990FX AUD3 AM3 Plus AMD motherboard. It supports FX, Phenom 2, Athlon 2, Sempron 100. I mean, it does really good. The DDR3 on this can be OC overclocked to 2000, but I'm running 1866. You know, I'm going to party like it's 1866 once I overclock my Vashira, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, I mean, this is a... Honestly, I love this board. I looked for probably 6 months and studied all the other boards that that were offered for, you know, the $100 to $150 price range. And I even looked at some. I even scaled back and went from $75 up to $200. And the best bang for the buck is this right here, the Gigabyte GA990FXAUD3 badass motherboard. And you know, a lot of people, here's the problem with some of these things. A lot of people say, oh well, Gigabyte sucks, man, get a Zeus or something like that. Every motherboard will, you know, some motherboards from every brand will have defects. If you're unlucky enough to get a board that has, I don't know, a defective RAM slot, then that sucks for you, but you can't necessarily say, oh, screw Gigabyte, they suck. Because, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Machines that build these make mistakes. So I took all that into account, and this is what I went with. So they actually have on Newegg here. This was not the same when I actually ordered the board, but now they recommend this as a package. The 8350. The G-Skill Ripjaws, which is a very, very good set of memory as well. It's a little higher, but, you know. The Roswell R5 Black Gaming ATX Mid-Tower. I actually have the Cooler Master HAF tower, and I love it. But, yeah, that kind of reassured me that they actually have this as a combo with my board. Alright, last up is my power supply. The single most important thing to a build, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'll go ahead and show you what I was rocking with before I was actually schooled in. If I can find right here, and I'll go ahead and show you some of the specs here. I don't think they actually have pictures showing the side or anything, but I chose this because it had the braided lines. You know, it was simple for cable management. You know what? I don't care about that anymore. My cable management is I run it behind my motherboard, where the case and the motherboard meet, behind the back panel. It's not actually touching the motherboard or nothing. It's behind that is how I run my cables. And my current power supply, all the cables are, with the exception of the 12 volt motherboard cable, all the others are wide open like this. They do have zip ties holding them somewhat together, but yeah, this way makes it simple to put it in behind the back of the case, and then slip the back over to hold it all in place. It's out of the way. Looks really good. But yeah, this if I can actually find what I want to show you guys, was it really kind of irritated me how they did this. 520 watt maximum, I get that. But in the interest of time, this only provides a constant somewhat, because I actually checked the voltages myself. It claims to support constant of 420 watts. Now that's a 100 watt difference. I could see 50, I could see 60, but 100 watt difference is no excuse. They should not be allowed to sell this as a 520 watt unit. It's ridiculous. And look at the price. $60. That's what I paid in store for this. Dynex, shame on you. So if you look at the two here, obviously one is braided lines and one's not, but this is a 700 watt power supply, and the Dynex was about 10 amps, 15 amps, 18 amps at the 12 volt, and I don't remember these. I know it was very, very, very low, and I'm honestly surprised that I didn't blow a capacitor or something on my motherboard by running this Dynex. I got very, very lucky. So do not skimp out on your power supply. Very, very important stuff. And you don't have to pay extra for a pretty power supply. So when you look, and I highly recommend Newegg. I've been doing business with these guys for a long time, and I don't get paid by them or nothing. I don't bullshit. If I like the company, they're gonna get my approval. That's just plain and simple. One last thing I'm gonna go ahead and say before I show you the Cinebench marks for my setup is that I am actually kind of pissed off about this power supply, because it does not fit. This Cooler Master power supply unit does not fit properly in my Cooler Master tower. This is actually a very, very small power supply. This 120 millimeter fan, what it shows, try to get this a little bigger. The case of the fan is actually probably held in by these little screws here. These right here. And I mean, the whole case is not much bigger than the actual fan, just to give you an idea. So I mean, it's a very, very small case. Should I really be pissed off? No, I shouldn't. But it looks kind of goofy because it's so small in my giant case. But as long as it continues to power my stuff, whatever. Okay. So now I've been looking on the internet. No porn this time, guys. Sorry. Let's look at the temperatures and the voltage. It's a very awesome program. It's completely free. CPU ID, HW meter, monitor, excuse me. It's talking about, let's go ahead and get this pulled out. This is my Gigabyte motherboard, and it shows everything you need to know right here. The value, min, max. Here are the temperatures to my, I don't know in which order, but it's it's going to be North Bridge, South Bridge, and the Hyperlink. I think that's right. Yeah. I'm not that smart, guys, shall we? But as you can see, my temperatures, I'm basically at idle, and the temperatures are fine. Perfect. Now to the 8350. My temperatures, my value, this is what it hit maximum. And this is still remembering from when I did the Cinebench test. But my temperature as of right now is under 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 87 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. The minimum is when I first actually turned it on. I'd say the ambient temperature is about 70 degrees in here, so it was running at 68 due to 68 Fahrenheit or 20 Celsius due to the properties of the metal able to cool off the ambient air. The GTX 660 Ti is running about 93 Fahrenheit. We're at idle. The fans running about 1700 RPM. It can go up to 4000 or 3990. So dun 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 dun. Let's get on to Cinebench. Here are my scores. We'll start with OpenGL versus AMD Opteron, Intel Xenon, Intel i7, Intel i7, Intel i7, Intel Xenon, and I basically wiped the floor with them. Now, I don't know if that's actually a good thing or what. I don't know. I mean, you know. Now, on the CPU side of things, it's a different story. Intel Xenon was 1169. Intel Xenon, again, different GPU, I'm guessing, 1033. Now, keep in mind they do have twice the cores and threads. So, the AMD Opteron or whatever, yeah. Then mine, then you've got the Intel i7. It's running at 5.48, and then another i7 at 506. So, single core performance, let's see here. Yeah, basically at the bottom of the list. I mean, AMD is not known for single core performance. But keep in mind, yet again, I'll go ahead and say this, and I don't care because it's the truth. Cinebench is set up and built around Intel. So, I don't know. I don't know how reliable this actually is, but it seems to do okay with me. I'm happy with the results. And I don't want to make this an AMD versus Intel kind of deal. So, if I see something like that, I will delete it and block you, so please don't. I do want to know how you guys feel, but keep the comments clean. I don't want to hear no bashing from either side. I'm an AMD guy, but if I hear an AMD guy talking about Intel like they're complete shit, I will delete the comment and block you. So, yeah, keep it clean, keep it civil. I don't care to save that, yeah. And if you guys have any questions, I know this is a long ass video, but if you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll do my best to steer you in the right direction. So again, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Big Nate, and I'm out.